Welcome to the series of everything you need to know about Python in simplest possible way. In the series of pattern printing, so far we have seen so many patterns. In this video, we will see how we can actually print this particular pattern. So if you could carefully observe this pattern, we are having this pattern completely to the right side and having these alphabets in the diagonal format, which is A and B, C. Like that, the alphabets are keep increasing to the right side and remaining we have got these spaces. So let us go ahead and see how we can actually print this pattern. So in order to print this pattern, what we will be doing is that as we have 5 rows to this pattern, we will be using a variable rows and I will assign the rows as 5. So after that, in order to keep track of the spaces here before this pattern, I will use a variable spaces and I will assign how many number of spaces that we have got in the first row. So if we count how many number of spaces we have in the first row, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that, we have 8 spaces here. So for that, what I will be doing is that we cannot directly put the value 8 because if we change the rows here and the pattern will be changed. So because of that reason, what I will be doing is that I will do some calculation here, which is 2 into rows minus 2. 2 into rows which is 10, 10 minus 2 which is 8. Like that we can able to get 8 here to the spaces, and even if we change the value of rows, the number of spaces will be changed and we will get the exact pattern. So later what I will be doing is that in order to keep track of these alphabets here, I will take a variable alpha and I will assign the alpha with this particular alphabet here. So, but one thing we need to realize is that we cannot directly keep track of this alphabet. So, for that reason, what we need to do is that we need to convert these alphabets to integer values and keep track of them. So, to do that, what we have is that we have a specific formatting which is ASCII codes. So, by using this ASCII codes, we can convert this alphabet to equivalent integer values and we can keep track of them. So if you don't know about ASCII values, if you don't know about how they works, how to convert alphabets to equivalent integer numbers, and watch out my first video about alphabets pattern printing where I have explained clearly about all these things. So in this video, we will be knowing what is necessary to print this particular pattern. So as mentioned, we will be converting this particular alphabet into equivalent integer number. So in order to do that, in Python, we have a specific method which is ORD. By using this ORD method, we can actually convert this alphabet to its equivalent integer number. So as we have mentioned, we can assign this particular integer value to alpha. So later, in order to generate this many number of rows here, what we will be doing is that we will be using a for loop. So for I in range, so now we will be generating the range of values. So the range of values you can observe in this pattern. So we are having 1 in the first row, 2 in the second row, 3 in the third row. Like that, the values are keeps increasing. So for that reason, I will start with 1 and go till the value of rows. So for that reason, I am mentioning rows plus 1. So by the functionality of this range, we will be stopped at the value of rows itself, which is the value of 5 here. So in this for loop, what I will be doing is that I will print the value I here. So in order to know what values we have got. So we have got the expected values, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you can correlate this particular I values here with these values, with these alphabets in every single row here. So now we have got the rows, which is 5 rows here. So now we need to generate this many number of alphabets in every single row. So we need to generate in every single row, which could be repeated statements, right? So for that reason, we will be using one more for loop inside of this for loop. So for j in range, so now we will be generating the range of values. So the range of values we will be generating is that if you compare this particular alphabets with this particular I values here, in first row we have 1, the I value we have 1, in the second row we have 2, the I row and the I value we have 2, right? So for that like that, in every single row we will be having those many number of values here, those many number of alphabets here. So for that reason, we will be starting with the value 1 and going till the value of I plus 1. So by going till the value of I plus 1, we can actually generate how many number of we have got in each row, and those many number of alphabets we can actually generate. So inside of this for loop, what I will be doing is that instead of printing this particular I here, I will print the value of alpha. That is what we are using to keep track of these alphabets, right? So for that reason, I am mentioning this alpha. We don't directly print this alpha directly, so that if we directly print this, we only get the values like this. So in order to keep formatting these particular values like this, we need to do some formatting here. So the formatting that what I will be doing is that I will mention this end, this print with a single space. After that, after completion of this inner for loop, I will print a new line. So for that reason, I am mentioning a new line. So if you have any confusion of why I am mentioning end here and this new line character here, watch my any video about the numbers pattern printing, where I have clearly explained why we need to use this particular formatting in order to print the pattern. So in this video, we don't have the opportunity to explain clearly in these alphabets. So where we have numbers, so that I have clearly explained why and how we can able to generate. So now if I execute this, we are getting everything completely to the left side. So we need to format this and get the pattern completely to the right side. So in order to do that, first we have spaces, right? So for that reason, first we need to print spaces before actually printing this alpha. So for that reason, as and when we enter into this outer for loop, I will print the spaces. So for that reason, I am mentioning a print, and I am mentioning this space, and I am multiplying this space with the spaces variable. That is what we are using to keep track of the spaces, right? So here I will mention this end. So by default, this end is having new line character. We don't want any new line. So for that reason, I am replacing with nothing. So after that, if you could carefully observe this pattern, these spaces are keeps reducing, right? So in every single new row, the spaces are reducing by 2. So for that reason, we need to reduce these spaces. So for that, as and when we complete this inner for loop, I will reduce these spaces by 2. So for that reason, I am mentioning spaces minus equal to 2. So now if I execute this, we can able to get this pattern exactly that what we have expected. As it is numbers, we are getting some different shape, but we have got the pattern. So now we will be converting this alphabet into this particular integer values to its equivalent alphabet. So to do that, in Python, we have a specific method which is chr. By using this chr method, we can actually convert the integer values to its equivalent alphabets. So now I am mentioning this chr inside of this. So now if I execute this, we can able to get every alphabet which is A having arranged in these positions. So now we not only want this alphabet A, we want these alphabets in this diagonal, A in this diagonal, B in this diagonal, like that we want. So in order to do that, what we need to do is that we need to assign and initialize this particular alpha inside of this for loop, because this inner for loop here is responsible to generate every character, every alphabet here, right? So for that reason, before that, we need to initialize this particular alphabet A, so that as we can initialize before this particular inner for loop, and inside of this outer for loop, every time this alphabet will be initialized. So by using this for loop, this will take the value of alphabet, so it will be going and doing the process. So for that reason, what I will be doing is that I will take this alpha here, and I will initialize that inside of this outer for loop. So I am initializing this alphabet of A inside of this outer for loop. After that, what I will be doing is that I will increase the alphabet, so that we can able to get A, and then we can able to get B, and then we can able to get C. Like that we need to increase, right? So for that reason, I am increasing this alpha by 1. So now if I execute this, we can able to get the exact pattern. That is what we have here. So you can compare and you can understand it clearly. So now I hope you can able to understand this logic to generate this pattern. So if you got any confusion while understanding this, I sincerely suggest you to watch the video once again carefully so that you can able to understand clearly. Apart from this video, to understand more clearly about how this pattern printing is exactly working and how to effectively format these patterns, the exact positions, watch my any video about the numbers pattern printing where I have explained clearly about how to format properly. So now what we will be doing now is that we will dynamically take in of these rows and print the pattern accordingly. So for that reason, I am taking input. I am asking enter rows here. So now if I execute this, it was asking me to enter rows. So let's say if I give the value 3 here, it was giving the exact pattern that what we can expect with the number 3. So let's say if I give the value 9 here, so we can still get the pattern which is completely to the right side and going till the value of I, which is the ninth alphabet, right? So now I hope you can able to understand this logic to generate this kind of a pattern by any number given by the user. So I hope you can able to understand. I hope you are enjoying this video. If that is true, hit the like button. In the next video we will see how we can actually print this particular pattern. So to stay updated with my latest videos, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications to all so that whenever I upload any video you will get the notification. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.